So thanks for having me and staying here inside instead of going to the lakeside today. It's rather hot, but I have 20 minutes, so I'll have to keep it short. 20 minutes means 2 minutes per year of my muesli, and I'll do my best to compensate everything I want to. The title was officially the success story of my muesli or something. I didn't choose it, but the biggest success of my muesli probably is that we three student friends managed to stay friends for over 10 years now, even though we founded a company. And saying this, those are the other guys, my friends Max and Philip. We all studied in Passau. Max was studying law, and Philip and me business administration. So we had absolutely no clue about food processing, e-commerce, or whatsoever. So it was a huge thing to take on, and I'll lead you through our story, which began already in 2005. So that's 12 years, not 10 ago, because that was the initial spark of the idea to my muesli. And what you can see in the background of this image is a little lake near Passau. And in Passau, I mean, it's a really small city. You can't really do anything when you have a sunny day like today, except going to a lake. And this is what we did. And driving there was a really old car, listening to the radio. We heard this really, really annoying radio commercial for a muesli company from southern Germany, and we were going like, oh my God, it's so bad, can we please do that better? And at first we only wanted to do a better radio spot, but then we thought, okay, maybe there's no cool brand to do a cool radio spot for, so why don't we do a muesli brand and invent our own muesli? And on the way back from that lake, we went to the next supermarket to see what's around, and what we happened to see there is like fully stuffed shelves with hundreds of combinations of muesli, and we were really disappointed because everything was there. There was no space for more muesli or brands, and we were a bit disappointed. But with that in mind, we said, okay, let's at least have a decent breakfast tomorrow and go for the best muesli we can find in those shelves. So we took like 20 minutes to browse through every packaging, read everything, and showed up at the cashier, and everyone was holding a different muesli, and no one was satisfied. So Philip didn't like nuts, I didn't like raisins, Max wanted sesame seeds in his muesli, and nobody got what he wanted to. And this was basically the initial spark of like, oh, hold on a second, maybe we're not the only ones with those problems. And that was one of our ideas we created to be self-employed after university. But as good students, business administration students, you just don't stumble into those ideas and realize it. Because you're a good student, you do a survey to ask if other customers maybe have the same problem. And as we had no other chance to offer our services and our muesli online, we were asking 150 friends and friends of friends by email to answer our survey. And it was basically a number of questions ending up to the result, would you buy muesli online? And the result was devastating. Nobody wanted to buy muesli online, except it was less expensive. So very German. When you think back, it was the year 2007. It was not even Facebook in Germany around. So e-commerce was just at the beginning, and not even every rooftop had been sold on eBay by that time. So it was really in the beginning. But ordering food online was like a strange, ridiculous idea. So it was failed. We should have stopped here, and I won't be here if we didn't go on, because what really kept us going was that we fell in love with the idea and the brand we created on the way until we got this result, and we said, okay, we just have to try it. No matter what, we just do it, and if it doesn't work, we'll close down after 3 months, and it was a great experience, but we want to realize our idea and bring my muesli to life. So what happened on the 30th of April 2007, we went online with this website. It looked very similar to what you will see today. And it took me 6 months of my lifetime to program it. And it was really one of the worst ideas. I had to do it by my own. But we had no budget to pay any coders. So if you study business and program a website, you can imagine it might work, but it's not doing a good job. So we had to replace it after 3 months. But that's not what I talk about. I talk about what worked. And what worked is the system and idea behind mymuesli. Because we started out with custom mixed muesli. So everyone could choose and mix and mingle his muesli out of 80 organic ingredients. And those are some icons showing of those ingredients, which result in 566 quadrillion possible muesli variations. So it was food mass customization, if you want to call it like that. And this is how we went online. It took 6 hours for us until we started at 5 o'clock in the morning to gather 40 first orders of friends. We just sent out some emails to friends and bloggers and said, hey, now we are online. We've been talking about this a lot. And lots of bloggers were writing about us. And that took us only 7 days to show up at the #1 search result for muesli at Google. And also the press was gaining traction, reading blogs and writing about us. So that really led to a full-time job for us and a boom in orders. Everyone wanted to try this, even though we were like 3 or 4 times as pricey as all the competitors, which weren't really competitors. I mean, the market for custom mixed muesli in 2007 was obviously zero before we started. And once we sold the first can, we had 100% of the market share because nobody else was competing for it. Anyway, things were moving so fast and really had a hard time to mix all those mueslis because we were a team of 3 guys doing everything from customer service to programming to mixing muesli to answering press calls and all that stuff. That we were actually sold out after 2 weeks. The problem was we didn't have any logistic systems and KPI systems with all our ingredients in place. So we only realized 4 weeks later that we actually were sold out 2 weeks before, which is really a shitty situation because you have just sold 2 weeks muesli you didn't have. So you have to inform your customers, sorry, there's a little problem. You'll have to wait a bit longer for your breakfast you probably wanted to have tomorrow. And we called our partners to deliver us more of the cans. So that was we were short of our cans, our packaging. And we said, oh, it's going better than we expected. Could you please deliver us the same amount again, maybe tomorrow? And he was answering, oh, you lucky guys. I've only 1 customer in front of you, and then I can serve you. The only problem is that is a huge discounter in Germany, and I'll produce straight through the next 6 weeks for him, and then I can do your packaging. And that was really, really bad because I had to put this banner on our website saying, okay, you will have to wait for 6 weeks if you order now. And I expected sales to go down to 0 on that time, but that didn't happen. And what I was referring to all the time now is only May. So you see what happened after May, and this looks a bit like an exponential curve you could render for your business plan or something, but it's actual numbers. So we quite had some time to keep up with the growth, and that continued for years and years. So in pictures, that looks a bit like this. So this is Max. He looks far younger than he does now, I have to admit, but he's sitting at the hallway of our little production. And the production was 35 square meters, and we had all the packagings ready for shipment on the hallway. And what you can see behind Max, I think I have a laser pointer here, there's a staircase. I mean, we studied business, and Philip even studied logistics, but we were a bit too dumb and rented out a space on the first level. So everything that was delivered to us, we had to carry up the stairs. We had to mix the muesli, packaging, and carry it down again. So that was really, really hard work. However, we could skip the gym then. And a bit later, we had to move in a new facility. And for the first time, we had a forklifter. And it was a huge hall. It was, I don't know, it was 3 times as big as this place probably. And we were entering it, oh my God, we can stay here for 20 years and we can't produce as much muesli as we can in this place. So we were really overwhelmed, and it looks a bit improvised still, but it was a huge step for us. And after this initial hype, you were a bit afraid of the press and everything slowing down, and we wouldn't have any demand anymore. So we created the first TV commercial. But as with the founding itself, we didn't have any budget for it commercial or for media time and airtime. So what we did was we recorded this TV commercial with a friend of a friend who owned a self-made slow motion camera, which could took like 1,000 pictures per second, I think. The only problem was it needed light, lots of light. And you see, it's a bright sunny day. But still, the lights are really flashy. And after 3 hours of recording the slow motion part, the garden, which was owned by the parents of a friend, was completely burned down. So we left a moon-like landscape there. However, we had our first slow motion pictures captured. What was missing was the media budget still. And we were talking to some TV stations, and it was 2008, and everyone was a bit afraid of, oh, what's the internet doing to my business model? And now 10 years later, they realized, but they were asking questions a lot. We talked to TV stations and said, okay, you say you have a nice offering, but we can't prove it. And what we do is we test a lot online, and usually we just share the risk with the ones offering their services, and then we see out if we have a long-term relationship, if it makes sense. And I don't really know how, but we managed to land a CPO deal with a TV channel, a major German TV channel. So we were only paying when we were actually selling something, which worked out with our budget then. And shortly after that, demand increased a lot. And we had to automate our production because it was not possible to do it by hand anymore. And we built this little machinery for our 80 ingredients. You have 1 station per ingredient, and what you can see is our packaging moving from one station to the next one. There's a picture here from the inside, and at every station, the packaging was scanned, and the station decides, okay, am I the ingredient which belongs into the can or not? And if not, the tin would pass on, and otherwise it would be filled in the packaging. You have to mix it at the end as well, right? Otherwise, you have layers. We also, it was one of the major problems because when you just shake something, the light and more voluminous ingredients come up, and the small and heavy ones go down. So the idea was to just flatten down to light on the side and then roll it and shake it. So you have like even layers on the horizontal axis. It works better when there's less in the tubes. Sometimes it doesn't work perfectly. We're still working on that one. So after that went quite well, and we were selling lots of custom mixed mueslis. We were asking ourselves, being a bit bored, is it only 566 quadrillion muesli, so what else can you do? And we realized that we were sitting on a bunch of data from all those custom mixed orders. And what you can see here is just an excerpt for the fruits we offer. And the bigger the fruits are, the more often they had been chosen for muesli. And if you see the lines connecting to other ingredients, you see how likely it is that people would combine it with other ingredients. And we only looked at reorders here. So if somebody reorders, we said, okay, then it can't be that bad. So maybe this is a good combination. And what we made out of this data together with nutritional experts was a range of premixes. 3 of them you can see here. Today it's over 60 different premixes and cans. And that was for, on the one hand, for our website customers who were not that creative or didn't have the time to mix, was a great offer. But it opened up another opportunity for us, because actually with this, we could go offline. And we never really intended to go offline in the first place, but with this portfolio of products, we did and opened a first store in Passau, where our headquarters are still located. And it was only meant for our own team, just to meet up in the morning and have some informal chat and then head over to the main office building for work. What we found out in this little store, costing us less than 400 euros rent per month, and having only like 17 square meters, that other customers found their way to the store as well. And after a year, we looked at the numbers and it was actually paying for itself, which we didn't believe in the first moment. And then we realized, okay, if this works here, maybe that works at a bigger scale as well. And our second store we opened in Munich at Viktualienmarkt. It was 3 times as big and it's still there today. So if you travel to Munich, it's our second and real store. It's still there. Have a look at it. So as Munich worked as well, we kept on opening more stores and more stores. So different concepts, different cities, and today we have over 50 own stores which are not franchised and fully operated by us. Offline also allowed us to try out supermarkets as a sales channel, and it was really funny because in the beginning there were many supermarket guys calling us like, "Can I sell you muesli, please? Can I do that?" And we were like, no, it's not really intended for reselling. We want the direct customer contact. There's no margin in there for you. And we always turn them down. But after 3 years, we ran a test with the daughter of Rewe called Temma. I don't know if you know it. It's an organic concept. And the brand fit was quite nice. And we tried it out and it worked as well. And from then on, we were selling in supermarkets as well. So after 10 years, and I think I have to hurry up a bit, we still have 566 quadrillion possible mueslis, and please go ahead and try it out. We also have a nice app to mix muesli. We have 2 production facilities, one in Germany, Passau, and one in Switzerland, only for the Swiss market. We are operating in 6 countries, over 50 muesli stores, and many thousand supermarkets we are available in. And we also over 800 employees from the headcount, so it's quite a troop. And this is more or less now what I would compensate from the learning perspective, my universal learnings, if you want, like this, from the last 10 years. It really is about the people. And it sounds lame and boring, but it is. It's all about people and relationships. And that counts for the founding team. 3 of us. It also counts for the employees, the first employees. Our first employee, she's still with us after 10 years. And it counts for the customers. And we don't call our customers, but muesli friends, because we didn't come up with muesli like trying to change the world and challenge all the big players, but more to have like a decent muesli with like-minded people. So we are integrating our customers, or the muesli friends, from the very beginning on to shape the company to what everyone thought was the best way to go. And it also holds true for partners. Like, partners are people as well. So if you treat them well, they will treat you well as well. Second learning, transparency is absolute key. And it starts with the 3 founders. If you're not exactly on the same page, and it's really funny, sometimes you think you're really on the same page, but you have slight differences in perspective. So talk about that and nail it down so everyone really knows what it is about and what are the key drivers. Later on, maybe a bit too late, I think we were 500 people by then, we implemented OKR, Objectives and Key Results. I don't have time to go into the details, but I think you can Google for yourself. It's really a nice method for managing lots of people, so everyone runs in the same direction. Third one, after having said that you should never underestimate people, as I did maybe in the beginning after university, There's another thing from one of the biggest strategy thinkers around, Peter Drucker, and he said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And that is so true, I can tell you now from 10 years. You can have the best strategy or the worst. If culture is fucked up, you won't go anywhere. And on the other way around, if the culture is good and you have a bad strategy, which holds true for ourselves sometimes as well, that really catches you falling. And so take care of the culture. We wrote a book about that, 10 years of my muesli. It's called Machen or Do It or something. Nike doesn't have any shares in this. Basically, the most important thing is just on the cover, but feel free to buy it anyway. Reading that book, it reminded us of our pressure to create. And what we did is, just a week ago, we brought a new brand to the market called Nilk, which is no milk. It's a vegan, plant-based milk alternative, which has like the same nutritional values as real milk and tastes like real milk. So feel free to try it as well. I really like it. It's really innovative product. So what now? I think my time is up, but we won't stop until we have sold like every single possible mixture of the 566 quadrillion mueslis. So I hope you help me doing so, and this is why I even have a little voucher for you if you look at the URL here. Thank you very much.
Who would like to ask a question? Anything? I would like to know something. I mean, you've already given a few advices, but is there like a golden rule that you learned that you didn't know when you started and you would like to give to young people who are about to fund their own business maybe?
I think it still kind of boils down to never underestimate relationships and never set money as the first goal. We didn't have any monetary goals in the first place, and if everything feels good, money will come along somehow. So, yeah.
So it's about feeling, yes?
Would you be so kind and elaborate a little bit on your financing?
Yeah, I can do that. We finance everything more or less you just saw with an initial fund from our savings, adding up to 3,500 euros. And then basically growing from cash flow for 8.5 years. And 1.5 years ago, we took aboard our first investor. We were thinking about that for 2 years, if we want to do it or not. But we needed someone to get to the next step and do some major investments. We couldn't finance from banks or cash flow. So it's very, very conservative. And that's good and bad. Because it's good when you're free and you can do whatever you want to, but sometimes it's bad if you don't have someone like putting your nose like in the where it's important. So yeah, we did a lot of defocusing this way, but anyway, it still feels good now. It felt good the years before, and yeah, that's basically our financing.
Okay, I think it's all set. Thank you very much for being here. There are more people coming. If you feel like doing some Bikram yoga, this might be the perfect place. I don't know. Stretch out in between. Don't lose oxygen. We'll try to stay fit. Thanks, Hubertus, for being here. Before we go on,